So you're going to have the three mics to worry about: Wade, mine, Christian's, and then Caleb's when he gets it.
Test.
Is it on? Did you switch it on?
Test. Testing.
There you go.
Shove it right up in there.
Okay. So the basic premise of this drama, Dateline Bethlehem 4 BC, a drama about the Nativity, is that the Christmas story gets reported through the immediacy of talk radio. So you have to imagine that everything we already know about the first century Roman and Judean world is the same except for one thing. They have modern communication technology. What if the Roman Empire had the same kind of immediate access to information that we enjoy today? I'm reminded of a line from Jesus Christ Superstar, in which a singer says to Jesus, "If you'd come today, you could have reached the whole nation. Israel in 4 BC had no mass communication." Well, how might it have looked if they did? Of course, we realize it's kind of a silly premise. But there is a method in our madness, and we hope to make you think as well as laugh. By the way, the title of our drama is based on the rough date which scholars have assigned as a likely time for the actual birth of Christ, based on the time of the death of Herod the Great and the age of Jesus when he died under Pontius Pilate. And now, Dateline Bethlehem 4 BC. And welcome back. For those of you just tuning in, this is Talk Radio 1560, KCSR, your home for news, weather, and sports in Caesarea, Roman capital of the province of Palestine. You're tuned into the morning show. As always, I'm Marcus Maximus.
And I'm Ovid Romulus.
And this is Maximus and Romulus in the morning. It's Sunday morning, the first day of the Roman week. And as usual, Saturday was quiet in these parts due to the Jewish Sabbath. Here's a little society gossip, Ovid. There was a dinner party at Marcus Aurelius's Saturday night. And yours truly, Marcus Maximus, was there. Marcus Aurelius himself was heard to say, and I quote, "I long for Rome."
Well, who doesn't?
You got that right, Ovid. You know, never in all my travels through the empire have I seen a province so boring as Palestine on the weekend.
Me either, Marcus. These Jews, they'll stir up rebellion and make trouble all week long, but they won't stir up from their synagogue on Saturday. The weekend was made for fun. Don't they ever have any?
That question, Ovid, is often on the minds of Romans who've recently arrived here. Those who've been around a while know that we just have to make our own fun and leave the Jews to themselves. And speaking of fun,
it's time for sports news. The Olympic Games will be held in Corinth this year, but broadcasting officials wonder whether interest in the games will drop off due to the scandals surrounding them. It is alleged that several members of the IOC, the Imperial Olympic Committee, accepted bribes from city officials in Corinth to encourage them to move the games to that locale. None of the IOC members have admitted to the charges, but a thorough investigation is underway. In racing news, Tribune Marsala once again drove his Black Arabians to victory in the circus here in Caesarea. It's his third victory this year, and as always, he left a trail of destruction in his wake. The use of the long hubcaps with serrated edges used to such good effect in wrecking other chariots is being questioned, as always, but so far there is no rule against them, due in no doubt to their popularity among racing fans, who, as always, enjoy a little extra carnage.
Speaking of carnage in sports, the gladiator Spartacus continues to win out over all challengers in the circus at Rome. When interviewed after his latest victory as to what keeps him going, he said, "Hey, I'm just doing my job. I've got to go out there and take one game at a time and try to win one for the team."
Very original.
Yeah. Besides, he said in a humorous afterthought, "I need something to do to keep busy while I'm preparing to lead the slaves of Rome in the big revolt." Everyone got a great laugh out of that.
Oh, that Spartacus, always giving the fans a little something extra, isn't he? That's why reporters just love him. And by the way, Marcus, you've probably heard already that there's a controversy in gladiating also. League officials have ruled that gladiators employing the cutthroat gesture after dispatching an opponent will be fined by league officials for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, it's about time.
Yes.
I don't care for that kind of behavior from gladiators. You know, they have to realize they're not just athletes, they're role models.
That's right.
Now it's time to take a look at the news from the countryside. As you know, here at K Caesar, we like to keep you abreast of interesting happenings around the province, and an extremely intriguing item just came our way. This is from the Daily Augustinian, a Roman newspaper in Jerusalem. And for those who keep track of the religious goings-on in this country,
Which is so full of religious fanatics.
This story could have important consequences, even though it comes from the sleepy suburban village of Bethlehem. Here is the recent headline: The birth of the child. Is their Messiah come? Old Jewish prophecy declared fulfilled. A child born in a stable in Bethlehem asserted to be the Christ. A strange story comes to the Daily Augustinian from the Jerusalem suburb of Bethlehem. Sources assert that the Messiah prophesied in the Jewish scriptures has come. According to our reporting, the story is that the Messiah has come in the form of a baby born in the stable of an inn at Bethlehem. It gets much stranger from there. Reports of heavenly beings appearing to shepherds, strange visitors from the east, and other remarkable stuff. Well, in order to provide our listeners the most accurate coverage, K. Caesar sent our Jerusalem correspondent, Diana Alexandra, to Bethlehem to get the inside story. We have Diana standing by, I believe, and we'll get her first-hand account after this word from our sponsor, Roman Meal, the bread that Caesar eats. And we're going to commercial. So do you think Caesar really eats Roman meal?
Nah, are you kidding? But I bet they pay him a big royalty to use his name.
Yeah, probably. So, do you eat it?
Me? Well, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Time's about up. 3, 2, and we're back with the story of the morning. Has the Jewish Messiah been born in a stable in Bethlehem of Judea? I have Diana Alexandra on the line to fill us in. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Diana, we are all very interested to hear the results of your inquiry into this birth of the Messiah business. What have you turned up?
Well, Marcus, I've turned up plenty, and I have to say, this is quite a story. I discovered from local sources that the story of the child was first circulated by a group of shepherds whose pastures are near the road from Jerusalem. So I thought I'd interview these men first. When I found them, they were happy to tell me their story. The head shepherd, who has been shepherding in these pastures for some 40 years, seemed a no-nonsense sort of person. I taped his statement, and I'll play it back for you now.
Yeah, we were watching our flock as usual, and all at once the sky becomes full of light. It was awesome. We looked up, and there in the midst of all this light is something I cannot describe to you, but it's totally dazzling. It speaks in a voice like nothing you can imagine, and it says to me, "Do not be afraid, for I am bringing you good tidings of great joy, which shall be for all people. For today, in David's city, a Savior has been born for you. He is the Messiah, the Lord." And he says that we will find this Savior in Bethlehem, wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Then the wonderful being stops speaking, and suddenly the whole sky is filled with other beings, just like the first one. And they're all making this beautiful music. I can't begin to describe what it was like. They were singing over and over, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace to people of good will." Then the music is stopping, and the lights disappearing, and they're gone. Where? I don't know. Back to heaven, I guess. So we're pretty stunned at first, but then we're talking about it a little, and we realize, hey, well, everybody heard the same thing. So we decided, yeah, we're going to go down there to Bethlehem, and we're going to find that newborn baby with his mother and father. Turns out they're in a cave in the back of an inn where they keep the stable and the animals. It was wonderful.
So I asked him, "Do you believe the child is the Messiah of your race?" And he said, "I know he is."
That's a pretty remarkable story, Diana, and you must admit, hard to believe.
I know it is, Marcus.
Over here, Diana. What did the shepherds think about their headman's version of the story?
Well, it was clear they all believed, and there was no contradiction among their stories.
Well, it's pretty far-fetched if you ask me. Just the sort of thing some Jewish shepherds might cook up. Doesn't it strike you as funny, Marcus, that these miraculous visions and sightings of UROs always happen to country hicks out in the middle of nowhere?
UROs?
Oh, that's unidentified religious objects.
Ah, yeah. Well, what happened next, Diana?
Well, I went on to Bethlehem. The town only has one inn, so it was easy to find. I was shown into the stable where I found the family in question.
Did you see the child? Was there anything to indicate that he might be a king or a god or anything like that? Any glowing lights or angelic voices?
No glowing lights, no voices. But I got a good look, and I can say that he is a cute little baby. He acts like any other baby. He cries, he eats, he sleeps, but nothing remarkable about him that I could see.
What about the parents?
The man is in his late 20s, carpenter by trade. The woman is young, about the age when these country girls get married. Nothing interesting about them either, except, well, the girl had an expression I find hard to describe. There's no doubt that she herself believes, and the man too. I asked him to tell me his version, and he took me outside and told me that he was betrothed to this young woman months ago in the town of Nazareth in Galilee. They were to have been married, but then she had one of these angelic visitations.
Ah, one of those.
Yes, this creature called himself Gabriel and told her that a son would be born to her, the paternity of which would be supernatural, and this son would be the Messiah of Jewish prophecy. When she informed her betrothed, he was very upset. But then he too had a visitation in which the angel confirmed what she had said. So he went ahead and married the girl.
Diana, one thing I think maybe troubling some of our listeners is the fact that these two are from Nazareth, which is quite a distance from Bethlehem. How does it happen that the child was born in Bethlehem, where I'm given to understand the prophets foretold their Messiah would be born?
Well, as you know, the recent order from Rome for the census came along. The Jews are a tribal people, and they had to register at the headquarters of their clan. Joseph is from the tribe of David, so he was compelled to make the journey to Bethlehem, known as David's city, along with his young and very pregnant wife. When they arrived, the place was so full of people that there was no place to lodge. That's why they ended up in the stable.
Diana, we have spoken to our sources within the Jewish Sanhedrin. For our listeners unfamiliar with that group, the Sanhedrin is a religious body the governing body, and they tell us that the temple priests discredit the significance of this story. They claim the Messiah would scarcely come in such a humble way, that the Prince of the house of David is expected to come in great magnificence, so that all will recognize him.
I can't comment on that, Marcus, but there is a strong feeling among the common folk that the time of the Messiah's appearing is very near. Whether or not this child is that Messiah, I guess only time will tell.
Well, thank you, Diana. For those just now joining us, that was Diana Alexander reporting live from Bethlehem on the rumor that the Jewish Messiah has been born in a stable. In a related story, KCSR has learned that there recently arrived in Jerusalem 3 Persians of the sort called in their country Magi, wealthy scholars of their princely houses. These men, having made a long journey of many months from way out east of here, places that you and I can only imagine, they were intent on some great mission, and they presented themselves before Herod, who is allowed by Rome to use the title of king. They asked about a child who was born king of the Jews. Herod was astonished. It's well known that there are many political intrigues in Judea, and Herod has adopted a severe policy toward potential rivals, to say the least. His reply was that he did not know where this child was, but he hoped they would succeed in finding this baby king, and when they did, they should inform him so he could go visit him also. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, know what I mean?
Visit.
Yeah. And the Magi reportedly tracked down this same baby and presented gifts of great wealth and dignity to honor him.
And having learned these facts, we naturally want to learn more. We found these magi with great difficulty. After visiting the infant, they had not returned to Jerusalem, and it proved no easy task to discover their whereabouts. But our job is to bring the news here at K. Caesar, and we aren't easily shaken off of a scoop, a story. Our mobile unit caught up with the magi who agreed to be interviewed on the condition that their present location not be revealed. We have one of them who is called Melchior on the phone right now. Mr. Melchior, could you please share with the audience why you did not return at once after you visited to Herod, after you visited the child?
Quite frankly, Mr. Romulus, I reckon we did not go back because King Herod is not to be trusted. We hope he's not yet become acquainted with the whereabouts of the child, for he is the kind of ruler who would, out of petty fear or jealousy, do harm to the innocent. So we really hope he's not listening to your broadcast. We were further warned by God in a dream not to return to Herod. Now I guess we couldn't just throw a few shrimps on the barbie and call it a day, but we gave it a go, didn't we?
Now, do you always do what you are told in dreams, Mr. Melchior?
Well, no, Mr. Romulus, I don't always assume that dreams are messages from the Almighty, but I swear by God and Vegemite, the clarity of the dream was such that neither I nor my mates, who were having the same dream, by the way, could deny it was a big deal.
What do you think of the Christ? Or, what do you think of the child?
Oh, we believe he's the Messiah of the Jews, and we are quite keen to see him become king.
How do you know that?
Oh, we know by his star. The star prophesied as announcing his coming. I mean, we're men who study very widely, mate, and know the mysteries of the heavens and the outback and the words of the great prophets of many races. In a wee place called Mount Victory in our country, in a cave, from the mouth of that cave, the skies are studied by wise men like us, and we reckon that sudden changes in the heavens indicate important events here on earth. 2 years back, the star of the Messiah appeared, so we began our walkabout to the land of the Jews, didn't we? To pay homage to the great little tyke that would be born there.
But why do you, who are not Jews, come in such an expedition to seek the fulfillment of a Jewish prophecy?
Oh, no worries, mate. Since the time of the Jews' captivity in Babylon, our people have known the greatness of their God. We knew their prophecies, and we saw them verified by the appearance of that star. We knew for certain that the arrival of the Jewish Messiah was not for the Jews alone. Their prophets foretold that all the world would be blessed by this king. Good on you, God. We are men whose lives are dedicated to learning and discerning the will of the Almighty God. God's purpose was revealed in the heavens, and that's what brought us round.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the significance of this child?
Oh, I don't reckon so. What I might say would likely fall on deaf ears. You're Roman, and therefore sceptical of any event that might come out of such a small place like Judea. But bear in mind that the Jewish people have been around since ages long past, when Rome was just a tiny village on the Tiber River. No, the God of the Jews brought them out of slavery in Egypt when the Pharaoh Lot was still ruling the world. And good on them that God has saved them through the centuries, while Assyria, Babylon, Persia, and Greece have grown to power and faded away. God saved them for a reason. I believe that this baby is that reason. And if you live long enough, you might see the purpose of God come round in Palestine. I reckon that Rome itself will bow down in the face of the amazing child born in that stable. And as the Jewish prophets have said, in him all nations of the world will be blessed. Now, if you'll excuse me, my mates and the camels are getting restless to get back down under. Good day.
Gosh, I wonder what he means by down under.
He's got to be crazy, clearly.
Yeah. Well, okay. Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Melchior. And that is it for today, folks. We'll keep you posted on the king born in the stable if anything further develops. But personally, I'm not expecting to hear much more about it. I mean, really, it'll probably fade away like most of the Jewish messiahs that keep coming and going. Tune in tomorrow when we'll be interviewing several of King Herod's concubines from the palace in Jerusalem.
Now that should be an exciting morning show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can ask them just what they think of the new challenger to Herod's throne.
Yeah, I'm sure they have an opinion. And as always, all the news, weather, and sports from Palestine and around the world. Till then, I'm Marcus Maximus.
And I'm Ovid Romulus.
And
May all the news you hear be good news.
We're going to sing our closing hymn now, and I'll let you guys you can remain seated if you want, but take note of the fact that unlike how you're probably used to singing Weezer Kings, the middle three verses are just going to go one on top of the other without having the chorus in between. Verse 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. Put me the benediction and sending out for the Lord. Our hearts for very joy must leap, our lips no more their silence keep.
We too must sing
Sweet as ancient cradle song.
Glory to God in the highest heaven, who unto us the Son has given, while angels sing with holy mirth, a glad new year to all the earth.
We got that.